my name's Averie and I love books and I'm a sucker for tearjerkers. Hi everyone, so today I'm gonna share with y'all 5 of some of the books that I have cried over. I have cried over many books, but I'm here to show y'all just 5, and maybe later on I'll show you some more. Yeah, here are 5 of the books that I totally cried about. The first one would be Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So this was my summer reading book going into senior year last year, and I can thoroughly say that this is one of my favorite classics of all time. I love it. The Bronte sisters are amazing writers. And I got so attached to the characters in this book that by the end, I was bawling. I was bawling my eyes out. And the movie, if you haven't seen this also, the movie, I think it's the BBC version, where it's like the kind of TV episodes. I watched that at maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, like a couple days before like the first day of school. I was crying in my bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. The movie got to me also. So I have read it, watched it, and also have listened to it on audiobook. The audiobook is really, really good as well. I thoroughly encourage it. So this book is set in the 18th to 19th century, and we basically follow our main character, Heathcliff, who has basically been adopted into this family with a father, 2 siblings, and the mother has unfortunately passed away. So in the family that he is adopted into, he has a brother and a sister, and that sister's name is Catherine, and the 2 of them evidently fall in love, and it's about their story, and it's about betrayal and loss and love, and it got to me so much. Like, this story is like ranks up there with like Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice. Like, I love it so much. I cried a bunch. Movie made me cry as well, so if you're looking for a tearjerker, here you go. Oh, and this is of course a 5 out of 5 stars, like, of course. The next book that made me cry a bunch was Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. So the ending of this book, let's just say, left me in tears. If you have not read this series, I encourage it. Some people have grown to dislike it, whereas I've learned to embrace it and love it still. I was not expecting the ending that was put in front of me at all, and I don't think anyone else. No one knows what Sarah J. Maas is gonna do, and she makes me cry a lot with what she does, especially what she did with ACOWAR also. That little part in ACOWAR also made me cry a hella ton. So I'm really needing the next book of Aylin's point of view really soon, so we don't stay on this cliffhanger. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and it made me cry a bunch, so yeah. The third book that made me cry was A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. So if you don't know what this book is about, or any of Nicholas Sparks' books, of course most of Nicholas Sparks' books would make people cry. I'm not the biggest fan as I used to be of Nicholas Sparks. I've evidently given some of his books away, but this book has stayed with me just because I was in love with it in middle school. It's very beat up, so I've read it a bunch. I first got this book in middle school because I saw the movie for it and I wanted to read the book after that. Yes, I saw the movie for the book, but that was in middle school before I became like a devoted reader. So if you did not know what this book is about, we have our main character Landon here, who lives in this small town and is labeled as the bad boy. And he then befriends a girl at his school named Jamie, who is kind of labeled as the prude because all she does is talk about God and religion, and she wears the most modest clothes and all this stuff, and he befriends her kind of, and it's their story. The ending got to me also. The endings of these books is mostly what got me to cry, but the movie got me also, and I believe I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. When I read it, I haven't read it since middle school, but as I can remember, it made me cry in middle school, when in middle school I was like never the girl to cry ever in a book. So the next one that I have that made me cry is Salt to the Sea by Brutus Petties. This is actually my favorite book right now. My favorite book of all time. It's been my favorite book since I have read it. Basically, I started close to the end of this book, I finally realized what the ending was gonna be and what was gonna happen, and I just full on lost it. I lost it, and I cried fully, maybe even like 45 to 30 minutes after I read it. This is such a brutally honest and beautiful book. Oh my gosh. If you did not know what this book is about, or you do not know this book, I thoroughly encourage you go buy it. I went into it kind of blind myself, and it just like heightened the experience for me, but I'll give you like a really brief synopsis. So we have 4 main characters in here who are all teenagers, and it is set in World War II, and they're all trying to aboard this ship named the Wilhelm Gustloff, but the Wilhelm Gustloff is known for its largest number of human casualties known to date in a shipwreck before, and so we kind of already know what's gonna happen. It just wrecked me, and it was beautiful, and I haven't read any more of Brutus Petty's books yet, but I need to, and I will soon, because this book is my favorite. So yeah, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, of course, and I encourage like every single person to read it. And the last book that made me cry was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. So I read this book maybe last year or the year before that in preparation for the movie, and I believe I have a Goodreads review on this, and I believe it's my only Goodreads review ever. So I bet everyone knows what this book is about, just because it is so hyped. And basically, if you didn't know, we have this woman named Louisa Clark, and she becomes kind of a caretaker of a quadriplegic man named Will Traynor, and it's their love story, and it's both of their stories trying to accept themselves, because both of them have had trouble with trying to accept themselves for who they are. And I read this book because I heard it was such a romantic book and such a different take on the romance perspective, and I loved it, in my opinion. I know some people don't enjoy this book at all and don't agree with the topic points in here. I don't either, trust me. I don't agree with what happens to Will or what he decides, but nonetheless, their story together was beautiful to read about, and that's what I took from it, and that's why I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, just because it impacted me on such a great level. Like, I sat in my bed, I finished this book at maybe 2 o'clock in the morning one night, and I sat in my bed for a good solid hour trying to stop crying from what happened. Like, it touched me. Oh, it touched me so much. I think I loved the book way more than the movie, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed the love story in this, and so that's what really got me, was the ending. Like, it's always the ending that gets me to cry, but yeah. So there you have it. Those are 5 cry-worthy books. I hope you all check them out. It for sure struck me in the feels, all of them did. And if you have read any of these books, please let me know down below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon with a new video. Bye! What? Okay, I'll let you go to bed.